Oh my God, what the hell is this? He's gonna try it! And will this be enough? My God, Hogan take it! 1, 2,
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Ruckus Wrastlin. I'm Josh Mabry, alongside my tag team partner in this journey, Justin Toner. How are we doing today, sir?
I'm feeling kind of absolute.
Yes, that came. Anyway, we'll get into that. You know who I am. I was like, but you don't know. No, we know why you're here. We know exactly why. But man, yeah, him dropping that little Scott Hall line there, that was always great there. But we'll get into that. Obviously, yes. I was under the weather a little bit yesterday, so I was not able to be there on Rev Sports Wrap It Up. Shout out, yes, thank you, and shout out to Tushka and Soul for still holding it down. For all the great content that we do here at Rev Sports, whatever, Ruckus Entertainment, Variety, all that fun jazz. But today is about the world of wrestling. And Justin, we've got some good news and we've also got some bad news. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with the bad news for a lot of wrestlers on both companies. Well, some that got released, it's like it's kind of bad news, but kind of good news. It's kind of a mix. It depends on your perspective. Probably a little more bad news for the people who were released from WWE versus the ones who got finally Tony Khan let loose from AEW.
So let's start out with the WWE ones.
At
first, Duke Hudson kind of came out of nowhere saying, hey, he's been released since like the middle of January. So that's sort of like, okay, that was kind of odd. Then next thing you know, WWE starts releasing a good handful of talent. That would be Isla Dawn, Blair Davenport, Giovanni Vinci, the Good Brothers, Sonya Deville. I'm trying to make sure I get all of them correct. Give me a second while I go through here. Elektra was released. So yeah, you had a little bit of a out of nowhere people were being released, which in a sense it sucks. It always does, because then you see the rest of us react of like, well, you know, Triple H's booking sucks and blah blah blah. They're spending too much time, but and me and you kind of had a conversation about this, and I kind of always think of like, is it booking or is it talent or is it both? It's always a little bit of both.
Sometimes it's one or the other. Sometimes it's both. You just don't know.
Right.
Each situations can be a little bit different.
Right. With Blair Davenport and with Blair Davenport and Isla Dawn, I felt like they dropped the ball with those two.
Oh God, yes.
Giovanni Vinci, he's way too good of an in-ring talent to have him to do all those vignettes.
He's a weird one. It's like it feels like he ended up in like a doghouse or something for some reason, because like it's like he got split for a period. He was moved over to SmackDown. They did vignettes saying like it was going to go back to the Vinci character, which he did in NXT for a while during the 2.0 era. While he was, because when Gunther got called up to the main roster, Kaiser went with him, but not Vinci. Vinci ended up getting left behind, and he did the whole Giovanni Vinci gimmick in NXT 2.0. And then eventually he got called up to the main roster, and they reformed Imperium. And then last year, they did the split. And then he got moved to SmackDown in the draft. And they did the vignettes where he was going to do the Vinci character again. And then when he finally debuted, he loses to Apollo Crews in 3 seconds.
Right.
And then when he goes back again, he loses again in a squash.
Yeah. So
you're like, what the F?
That it just reminded me of like, remember when they had like so many vignettes for Emma, and then she finally debuts, and then nothing. It was like, I thought we were past that. Isla and Blair. I mean, she's such a good talent, and she was great in NXT. And then they call her up. She had like a mini feud with Naomi. She was teased to be paired up. I forget who was. It wasn't Fire and Dawn. I forget who else it was for. But then that never came to fruition.
Yeah. Blair Davenport, I don't know what the hell happened. It's like, she's a case where creative failed her because she's a very talented wrestler. She got featured in NXT. They did the whole, like, the mystery attacker in the parking lot storyline, which was revealed to be her, which was used to cover up a bunch of people who were going out injured, including Nikki Lyons when she tore ACL the first time. Mm-hmm. She won the Women's Iron Survivor match at the end of 2023, at 2023's deadline. Faced Lyra Valkyria for the title at New Year's Eve last year, lost. Then, got called up to main roster, which I was like, oh, okay. They seemed to look like they were set up a feud between her and Naomi, and they had some stuff, and it was completely dropped, and she vanished from television. Then they kind of teased her forming an alliance with the Unholy Union, ironically, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, and then she disappeared again. And then the last time we saw her, I believe, was for the United States Championship tournament, where she lost in the first round. So it's like, this is a clear indication of like a talented wrestler where they creative completely failed them, and I don't understand why. How could you not come up with something for her? And because I thought that she was quite good, and I was always about it's like I said one more times last year. I'm like, where the hell is Blair Davenport? It's like, why aren't they using her? And I feel bad for her. Unfortunate. The one that the other kind of really was like, wow, what was like the Good Brothers being let go because Carl Anderson is out injured, and you don't really see WWE, especially under the last couple of years with Vince gone, they've cutting somebody loose while they're on the shelf.
Right.
So that made me scratch my head, like, what's up with that?
Right. And I don't know. I mean, obviously, like what they were doing at the end there with NXT, I mean, it felt like they were always in purgatory because they weren't like not being used, but when they were being used, it was more of jobbing. And so it just, you can just tell the writing was on the wall with them. Like it was
I mean, the fact that, well, it didn't help that AJ was out injured for a while.
Right.
And then he did the whole thing with Cody, and then he was off TV for a while. And then, unfortunately, he got injured in that match with Carmelo Hayes right after he came back in the fall. But during that time, while he was like, after the feud with Cody was done, and they did the I Quit match, it's like the Good Brothers were just like, all they did is like they were sent down to NXT and kind of did various feuds with people, and they were basically, you could tell they were being used to help people put people over. I mean, last time we saw him on TV before Carl got injured was losing to Hank Attack.
Right. So, and you know, we've said that, man, NXT is missing tag teams, but it seems like they were clearing space for people that were becoming free agents, which one's already debuted.
I saw that was the big speculation, and we'll get to that when it comes to the people that Tony finally let loose from AEW. Yeah.
And also they're getting for the call-ups that they're probably going to do with the NXT people. I think that's the other
problem, is that they got so much talent in the pipeline that unfortunately if they can afford to cut people loose at this point. If they feel like, all right, we haven't been able to figure out how to use them, and we got other people coming up that we're kind of high on. So unfortunately, you're kind of like expendable at this point,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate. But thankfully, in this day and age, between AEW, TNA, and how good the indies are, it's not like they're not going to find work.
No,
Blair's
already come out and basically
she hinted that she's probably going to go back to New Japan, probably work starting, and she spent a lot of time there and made a name for herself there. So
right, and it's not like, I'm not worried about.
They can certainly use her, especially with like a lot of Japanese talent has kind of left, especially like Julia, coming to the States. It's like, it's not bad. It's like it was kind of like. I wasn't surprised for the most part. I just feel it's just like it's
never fun. It's never fun when someone when that happens, and it's never fun for anyone, especially people who have unfortunately been let go from certain positions. It's never fun.
More frustrating because like Blair, like you let Blair Davenport go, who can really go in the ring, and look at this is not a knock on BFAB, but it's like BFAB is like when you compare the two. There's no contest who is the better wrestler, but yet she still got a job and Blair is cut loose. So it's like, that's where I'm just like,
right.
And it's like, I have nothing against BFAB. It's like, she's actually really improved in the ring. Honestly, it's like and from this reports that I'm sure it was online, she's really worked her ass off to improve her in-ring ability. But it just makes me just kind of like,
yeah. I mean, but the thing is, it's like they're investing more in BFAB. For why it's whatever that's what they're investing in. They're also investing more in Lash Legend, right? So like you can tell, like they're investing more in these other superstars, and unfortunately, not there's only so many hours in a show that you can do.
Yeah.
But which brings me to they've tried everything they possibly could. It just never worked, which was Sonya Deville, which and it didn't. The signs were there after she came back from her injury last year, where she's it's like she definitely didn't seem to be as good in the ring as she was before she got injured. She was always a pretty decent worker. It's like, but then Pure Fusion Garbage Collective was a complete disaster creatively, and it felt bad for everyone involved. They did not get any heat whatsoever. The only time we saw get any kind of reaction was actually, ironically, during the Rumble, when the crowd was happy when they all got tossed out all at the same time. Yeah. So, I didn't think of it, but I'll give credit to, because JD from New York pointed out, or was either JD from New York or Solo Monster pointed out when they were discussing about the releases that Sonya, after she came back from injury, she had a one-on-one match with Io Sky that was not good. And after that, she never really wrestled a singles match again. Was always in tag team or three-way with the other members of Fusion Collective. So that probably didn't help matters either, because Io's one of the best workers they got, so it's kind of hard for you to have a bad match with her. So that probably didn't help matters. If you don't think so, this past 2 weeks, we'll get to it on Raw, but those are some of the best two back-to-back matches. I know one's a tag team, one's not, but those are some of the two best-to-back matches I've ever seen Liv Morgan have, and it's all kudos to Io and how good she is as well.
Yeah.
So, and we'll get into it because you can just tell they are really pushing Io, and I like what they're doing with Io. I really, really do.
Yeah.
Okay, other ones, Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering, they also got released, which, again, they had no heat.
And honestly, never was really impressed with them in the ring. I mean, from what I've seen, looked like they were pretty good during their NXT days. But that was the black and gold era that I just missed before I came back and started watching wrestling again regularly.
Yeah.
So the only time I've seen AOP is on the main roster, and they were kind of interesting when they were the muscle for Seth during his Monday Night Messiah gimmick, and he had them and
Buddy Matthews
as his goon squad in late 2019 into 2020 before the pandemic hit. They did that cool angle where they laid out Samoa Joe by putting him through the announce desk on Raw when he was on commentary. And, it's like, that was pretty boss. But even when they came back, it's like, it felt like more like it's like they put him with Cross to try to help them. It seemed like more about Cross trying to help elevate them more than trying to elevate, the other way around you expect. So, I was never, I didn't think they were bad, but it never impressed me as like mind-blowingly good tag team in the ring. So I'm like, I'm not really attached to them anyway. So it's like that's too bad.
And plus, you can kind of see like when what they're doing right now with Karrion. They were just kind of testing out as like, is it Karrion or does Karrion need the muscle? And these past few weeks have shown Karrion can do what he doesn't need anything else. He's what he's doing backstage and and everything that he's done with Xavier Woods and The Miz and now Sammy and all those little backstage things that he does and those little things that him and Scarlett do as far as social media is concerned. He really doesn't need, and Scarlett's all he needs. As far as that. Now, his in-ring work
right now is great.
Like what Karrion's doing is some good stuff right now. As far as elevation and just doing as far as entertainment.
Definitely building toward him and Sammy doing something.
Yes. And if you can't have a good match with Sammy, I don't think you're ever going to improve in the ring. That's the only thing I would say about Karrion is his in-ring work is meh.
Like I said, his best work was during his NXT run. He looked great.
Yeah.
There's been flashes on the main roster, but sometimes it's all about who your dance partner is sometimes as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Was there anyone else that I was missing off the top of my head, at least for WWE wise?
Let's see. We covered the ladies. We covered
Giovanni, the Good Brothers, Authors of Pain.
Authors of Pain. Oh wait, apparently Elektra Lopez was let go as well. So that one didn't surprise me because I'll be honest, she didn't really impress me that much in the ring. She was more there for to be like the corner woman in the looks. I mean, there's times they tried to push her in NXT, but like her ring work was like decent as best. Like I'm not saying like she blew me away. So wasn't surprised that they cut her loose.
Right. And then as far as AEW, we had not surprising at all. It was just basically they finally gave them what they wanted, which was Miro, Ricky Starks, and Malachi Black. And they were like, "Oh, what about Ray Phoenix?" Nope, they're still holding on to him. But
apparently, Phoenix is still under contract, even though the word is that he wants out, and he sent a lot of tweets that very much indicate he wants out.
Right.
So. Which made it more interesting that he finally, the word is, I don't know if Malachi was let go early from his contract or it just expired, but Ricky and Miro were definitely let out of contracts a little bit early. Right. And thankfully, apparently without any no compete clause because, one of them has already jumped immediately to WWE and people are expecting the other two to show up in the near future, but WWE didn't waste any time snatching up one of those three, and we'll get to who that is a little bit later in the show.
Fang McFrost.
Yep,
that's right. It's his new name. It's Fang McFrost because they did trademark like 30 names.
Yeah.
And so every time he would like show them, they're like, "Well, he didn't say what his name was." They're like, "That's Trill Donovan or whatever," on that. So we'll get to that. But as far as and then TNA, tell me if you remember these names, guys. These blasts from the past, and they were still with the company. Josh Matthews, obviously of the first Tough Enough contestant, did some commentary. WWE has been at TNA for like 15 years. Feels like forever. Basically being the main play-by-play guy. He was, I don't know, let go. Their head of creative, who took over Scott D'Amore's job when he got pushed out, he got let go. And Christy Hemme didn't even know she was still around, honestly. She was also...
Yeah, didn't know she was working for TNA.
Yeah. I mean, I knew she was doing stuff.
John that I knew was working
after she left WWE, but I thought she was done with that altogether. No, she's still doing stuff with TNA. So is this the inkling of more being a WWE takeover? Or because I mean they literally just
I think it's just restructuring. They hired a new person up in management. I think things are changing over there. So I don't think any WWE has anything to do with this. It's like it's part of the conspiracy to be like, oh, they're eventually going to try to buy out TNA. Who knows? Maybe that might happen, but I don't think that's something that people need to worry about right now.
Yeah, it's just gonna be so weird. They release like all these wrestlers, and then after 90 days in TNA, oh, we have a Sol Ruckus here. She called out anybody in the TNA roster. Oh my gosh, that's Sonya Donovan. It was once Sonya Deville. It's like, wait, hold on, what are we doing? I can just see like something like that happening.
Well, I need to step away for just a moment. I will be right back. I'll let you have the floor for just a moment.
Yep.
I'll be right back. Hold on.
Yep, I got it. Yeah, so we had that happening, and then like because you see now, I mean, we obviously had Fandango. Now he's going by his TNA name, so he had him on there. And he's on NXT, going against Lexis King. The Nemeth brothers, I mean, formerly, so, and then like, they're like, oh, the Hardys could come back and do stuff with it's like, it's so weird on how that partnership is working and the fact they release wrestlers and now TNA just will turn around and hire them. Now, granted, most of these have all 90-day non-compete clauses. Now, Sonya, she did not get released. So she basically just are not going to renew her contract. So I believe when you don't renew their contract, there is no 90-day non-compete clause instead of just a straight up release. I believe that's how they go with that. But once Justin gets back, we'll get to the good news of an update on speaking of TNA, of Chris Bay, who probably had the scariest injury we've seen in quite some time, as far as him almost being paralyzed. Thankfully, the update, and I'll wait for Justin to kind of fill us in when he gets back. But it was very good news there. Kind of rolling into the Chris Bay news is what I was getting to.
Like Sonya's the only one who doesn't have a 90-day compete clause about who WWE.
Okay, I was right about that. Okay, good. Because when they say the same thing with Baron Corbin, right?
They're not renewing her contract,
right?
So she'll be able to go and do whatever she wants once her contract expires. Everybody else is under 90-day. Oh, one other thing. Someone else who got released not too long ago was recently interviewed. Former Tegan Knox. Saw that an interview snippet. Apparently, one of the reasons why she was not off TV was not because it wasn't just because there was no creative. She was seriously ill with the mysterious illness that she and the doctors still don't know what the hell happened to her. So, and she was this illness. She went and did all kinds of tests. They couldn't figure out what the heck was wrong with her. She's better now, but they still don't know what the heck happened with her. But she was not well. So that's why she was off TV for a good chunk of the time. And she said that she was shocked that they didn't release her earlier than when they did.
Gotcha. Well, I'm glad she's doing better. Yeah. Did she ever allude to kind of where she's going?
No, not yet. But she's probably going to do some indie work, probably either in the States or overseas, most likely. So, but it'll be interesting to see. It's like, I don't know. I'm thinking Black's going to be coming back soon. I don't know if they're going to have him show up before or after Mania. Miro is a very interesting case. Now, interestingly, Miro was shown hanging out with Sheamus. He posted a picture on social media that him and Miro were hanging out together. So take that for what you will.
I just now thought about Miro versus Braun.
The question is, it's like they think they can use him. It's like Malachi, I definitely see, because Triple H was always very high on him, and he was treated very well in NXT, but Vince completely fumbled him on the main roster. So, and plus with his wife there, I think I will not be surprised if Aleister Black shows up sometime soon.
With Miro, formerly Rusev, which I'm pretty sure he'll be Rusev when he'll
probably go back to Rusev, most likely.
I mean, you can put him against any of the big dudes. And
honestly, I would love if he just came back as Miro and did the Redeemer gimmick again, because that worked.
I mean, him versus. I mean, you can sit there and just do your like him.
Oh my God, him and
Braun Breaker.
Him against like people like Braun Breaker,
Jacob Fatu,
you know.
Braun Strowman,
Bronson Reed when he comes back from injury.
Right. He's too good of a talent.
When Obafemi finally leaves NXT, it's like you're gonna have some amazing house fight meat matches. So,
because if you didn't know, Rusev can go.
He can go. So we'll see. Their returns are highly likely, especially after someone didn't waste any time signing a WWE contract after they got freed from AEW.
Don't let the fragrance fool you guys.
Now, the good news going to Chris Bay. So, he suffered a very scary, horrific injury during a TNA show. Neck injury during the match. And left him paralyzed. And he went to the hospital. They had to get neck fusion surgery. And even after the surgery, he still had paralysis. And in the post that he put out today, he revealed the doctors told him he had anywhere from 15 to 25% chance of ever being able to walk again and use his hands again. Well, today he posted a video showing him he said recently for the first time he's finally able to stand up outside of a wheelchair, and he's able to stand up, walk around, and use his hands.
Yeah.
So praise God.
Yeah.
People have been very worried about him. The wrestling world, not just people in TNA, but people in both WWE and AEW have thrown out love and support. I mean, even CM Punk gave him a shout out, during one of his promos, if I remember correctly. So that's great news. Glad that he's recovering well, and that he's able to walk again, which is like, it's like, that's what's the priority now. It's like, he may not for what it sounds like, his wrestling career is probably over, but as long as he can be able to live a normal life, that's fantastic news.
Yeah. Because I mean, don't tell me the odds. I mean, just quote Han Solo. Never tell me the odds. You were saying, like the 20-25% they'll ever walk again, and then he posted that big thing of him just standing up, walking towards the camera. Now it's gingerly, but the fact that he was never even supposed to be able to take a step, much less stand, is a miracle. And it was
definitely one of the scariest injuries we've seen happen in the ring in quite a while.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to remember the last. I mean, maybe I guess Big E was the scariest.
Big E, definitely the scariest since Big E got his broken neck, which is put him on the shelf ever since, unfortunately. So that was some good news outside of people getting cut loose from various different promotions here. So so shout out to Chris Bay, and wish him the best on his continued recovery. So well, all right, we're at that 30-minute mark, which means it's time for SmackDown's review. Yeah, let's get to it. Here's a recap of what happened on last week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. The show opened with Jason coming out to a big reaction. He said he wanted Cody to come out so he could talk to him about WrestleMania. They had a chat, and Cody said, he understands he has a big decision, and said that if he does choose him, it's not going to affect their friendship. And they shook hands, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga came out. Jacob said that Cody took the title from the family and he wants to get it back. And he disses Jay, and they attack, and they fight them off. Then we had a women's elimination chamber qualifying match. Bianca Belair versus Piper Niven. Bianca picked up the victory with the KOD. Carmelo Hayes came into Nick Aldis' office. Found out that he was going to be facing Akira Tozawa as a result of attacking him during the Rumble. DIY came out with a chat kind of promo, wanting a moment of silence for Motor City Machine Guns. Pretty regularly interrupted, and Nick Aldis put them into a non-title match. Pretty Deadly won the non-title match, so giving them a title shot. Miz Andrade exchanged words backstage, and then Miz ran to Cody Rhodes, and they had words. Drew McIntyre came out, officially moved to SmackDown. Explained why. All this promise that he'd allow Drew to be Drew, and he wanted to get away from Raw's toxic environment. Jimmy Uso came out, cut a promo, and then LA Knight came out as well. And the three of them had a triple threat match for the qualify for the men's elimination chamber match. Drew won by claymore-ing LA Knight from behind while he was attempting to BFT Jimmy Uso, pick up the victory, and get into the chamber match. Braun Strowman and Damian Priest had words backstage. They would be they're going to be an elimination chamber qualifying match with Jacob Fatu next week. We heard from Kevin Owens explaining why he attacked Sami Zayn, saying that he did nothing to help him in his match against Cody Rhodes and let Cody try to destroy him in his career, and then he goes and helps Roman during the Rumble. And he said he was a horrible friend and that he was going to continue to make him pay for being terrible. Then we had Tozawa versus Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo picked up the victory. Nothing but net. Jerry Lawler was in attendance since they were in Nashville. The crowd got a big pop from the fans. R-Truth and Jey Uso chatted in the back. Charlotte came out to cut a promo, interrupted by Tiffany Stratton, going back and forth about potentially challenging her for WrestleMania. Nia Jax and Candice LeRae interrupted them, and Nia revealed that she got her rematch with Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship next week on SmackDown. Then we had another women's elimination chamber qualifying match. Candice LeRae took on Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss picked up the victory with her new finisher called the Abigail DDT. Chelsea Green found out she's going to be taking on going to be in a qualifying match next week, but B-Fab, Michin, and Zelina Vega all made clear that they want to come for the Women's United States Championship, much to her dismay. Street Profits cut a promo explaining their actions at the Royal Rumble, saying that they were tired of what was going on and that they were going to get the tag team titles back. Motion Machine Guns responded, but they kind of got an argument backstage with Lil Scarza. Then we had our main event tag match. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso teamed up against Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. Cody hit Crossroads and Tama Tonga to give the win for the Babyfaces. But he didn't get silver long because Soul Skull finally returned out of nowhere and hit Cody with a Samoan spike. Close out the show. So that's all that happened on last week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown.
So we're getting Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in Hell in a Cell, aren't we? At Mania.
It's going to have to be some kind of serious gimmick.
It's going to be a serious thing because that was one heck of a the car promo stuff is still hilarious too.
The car promo was awesome.
Yeah.
And I knew this was going to happen because, like I told you, I was like, he was going to blame Sammy. Sammy stood there and do nothing. Didn't help him. Let Cody put him through the ladder like that. So it's like now he wants to hurt Sammy.
Yeah. So that was.
We'll see what happens. Either they're doing a match at Mania again, or they're going to do something in Elimination Chamber. It depends on how quickly they have Sammy return.
Yeah, it's going to quickly, but that was exactly what we expected the response to be from Kevin. It was delivered very raw emotionally. So I think it was definitely what we needed. Also, speaking about Kevin Owens, did you see his son stand next to take a picture with Omos and how big he is?
Yeah. I've seen pictures. Kevin's son is a big boy.
Yeah. Now that being said, according to Kevin, what?
He's training from what I remember.
I thought it was told that he really doesn't have any interest in doing it. I have conflicting reports there, but
I remember somebody's son is interested in training. So I was like, anyway.
The Cody J stuff went about as what I thought, which was more of just which is fine. And Jacob Fatu coming out.
They had to do it because they wanted to drag it out just a little bit longer. Who James was going to go with, and we knew who he was going to pick, and they got taken care of on Raw.
Yeah, and the Jacob stuff is just becoming more and more entertaining. He's just so good. Tama being that, like that's getting over. By the way, the Tama stuff is getting over. The one thing that I was a little underwhelmed with was the Tiffany Stratton Charlotte face off.
Yeah.
I was not impressed with that.
No.
Your thoughts?
I did enjoy DIY wanting to hold a moment of silence for the Motion Machine Guns.
Okay, this tag team division is now cooking.
It is.
Because that Street Profits promo was awesome.
That thing was.
The fact that Gift Taylor isn't here commenting on that promo.
It's like you can sing Montez and Angelo Dawkins praises, man.
Oh, just at the end of it where they were cooking so good on that promo. I forgot they were going to do their catchphrase at the end.
I like this new this is the Street Profits. This new version of Street Profits can get behind. It's like they're like it's like no more bullshit.
Yes,
and I like they explained they felt slighted by Machine Guns. Like, you got our spot. You basically stole our spot. We don't like you either. So they got an edge to them. Mm-hmm. So and then it's like, there's all kinds of stuff going on. It's like they're pissed off and Machine Guns are looking to regroup. Los Garza's not fun with them either. And now Pretty Deadly's finally getting their title shot that DIY's been dangling in front of like a carrot to get them to do their dirty work. Yep. So,
and speaking of Edge, that's kind of who DIY reminds me of. Is not as kooky Edge and Christian of that run. Just with that, when they did the moment of silence, I was like, that's an Edge and Christian move there. Like what they would do.
I really love the heel DIY has been fantastic. I love what Johnny and Ciampa are doing with this heel turn.
Shout out to R-Truth. Congratulating Jay on winning King of the Ring.
R-Truth. Drew McIntyre, my boy, just killing it. That's the stuff between him and LA Knight was mwah.
That LA Knight promo where he was like, "It's it's okay to cry." That being said, that's all he does.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like, you're nothing but a crybaby.
Yeah, and I'm like, he's got a point.
But I love that Drew is in the Elimination Chamber. That's awesome.
That was a good finish too.
Oh yeah, where he claymored LA Knight in the back of the head while he was trying to BFT Jimmy.
Yeah.
That was a dope finish.
That was a dope spot. Now, Justin, I know you've said it, and it's your boy. I was going to wait to ask you this question because now I think it's just dirt sheets cooking up because at first they were talking about Drew and Damian at WrestleMania, which we all were like, we could just do that randomly on a SmackDown. Nothing needs to be built up for Mania. So now they're thinking of giving Drew a bigger feud, which LA Knight, I think would be better. If you're not going to do him and Roman, him and LA Knight can have a promo war on the mic. Yeah, and they're also, and we'll get to it with Raw.
They're kind of hitting that because they haven't had any air connection between Drew and Damian Priest since the Rumble. Damian Priest seems to be having issues with Braun Strowman.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
I think Damian's going to win that match because I think Jacob and Braun are going to cancel each other out. And Damian's going to get in the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
Did they announced who the final women qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber is tomorrow.
Who do we have next? And I can see if I can remember.
I think Chelsea's is involved. I don't know who she's facing. Is it Zelina Vega maybe?
I think Zelina Vega isn't part of it. I didn't see anything. I don't know.
I haven't seen anything either. I was looking earlier because we know we know that the final chamber spot is between the Damian Priest, Braun, and Jacob Fatu on SmackDown tomorrow. Because right now we've got Cena, Punk. Wait, no, that's second to last. Seth and Finn on this coming Raw.
So Seth.
That's gonna be Seth.
So Seth.
So we're looking at Elimination Chamber of Cena, Punk, Drew, Seth, Damian, and Logan Paul. That's pretty freaking loaded.
It's pretty freaking loaded. Now, right now, the women, Bailey,
Bianca, Alexa Bliss, Bailey,
Liv,
with 2 spots left.
So,
fingers crossed. You know, she's having to face Raquel. The Prodigy is wrestling Raquel for one of those spots on Monday night. So it's like,
why wouldn't you have her go over?
Especially because Bailey's in the chamber. It's like Bailey's in the chamber with everything that's going on. Especially the interest of because they're going to be involved in the title match in Vengeance Day on Saturday night. So the Prodigy's got to win this match, man.
Yeah, because I mean, Raquel still can make sense, but she's still the
in that elimination chamber with people already in there. That women's chamber match it will fucking cut.
Right. I can see the argument for Raquel if there's any funny business, just because but why would you put a heater for Liv?
Yeah.
In the elimination chamber? Like, I mean, they've done it before.
They're going to fight over who's going to get the title shot. It's like,
right. I mean, I can see that, but they're doing so well. As far as that Liv Raquel, like they're really starting to cook.
Why would you have it's like it make no sense that you throw Roxanne into a match like that and have her just lose to Raquel when you're clearly building her up, man. It's like, right. So I mean, I'll just say, I expect Roxanne to win via shenanigans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she should be in the fucking chamber.
Yeah.
Especially with Bailey in it. That storyline is nowhere near over, especially after what happened on NXT and what's definitely going to happen at Vengeance Day. We're going to talk about that because we're going to talk about Roxanne's troll job. I was very very impressed by her troll work this week.
Yeah, because like depending on how she stood next to the camera, I had to do a double take because it kind of like obviously if you see her face, no, yeah. But like anywhere else, like I was like, that's an old school. That is, she looks dead up like Bailey when she was in NXT. Like
this was a solid episode of SmackDown. A lot of good advancement toward Mania. Some good matches.
Carmelo, I don't think we have to worry about.
I think he gets a win.
Yeah, and he literally just trolled it with the.
Yeah. Then he buried Tozawa. It's like I feel better now. It definitely. It's like they're definitely. This is definitely.
They're finding their footing with Carmelo.
Yeah.
Then the main event was a fine match, but the main thing is Solo coming back.
Yeah. This is my one caveat. Please do not give us another Cody Solo match for the love of God.
Everyone screamed. They're like, "Oh God, we're doing this again."
Don't need to rehash that, please.
But the thing is, what else are you going to do with Solo right now? You've booked him into a corner.
You really have. We'll see. We'll have to see where this goes tomorrow.
Right. He's never beat Cody in all the house shows.
That's right, Giff. He is money.
Yes. And Giff on a scale of 1 to whatever it is, how would you rate?
Yeah, what's on a scale of 1 to 10? Where was that Street Profits promo from last week?
Yeah, because I give it a 9.5.
They brought the smoke with that promo.
Yeah, that promo was great, really good. So yeah, SmackDown. Looking forward to it tomorrow. And then we're gonna kind of see really where we're gonna go with the Cody character because obviously they gotta have something for Elimination Chamber. So I guess we're gonna have Solo and Cody again.
Maybe.
Hopefully not. But
yeah,
who knows?
And when is Randy going to return?
That's kind of like my closing question before we move on to Raw.
That's why I think Sammy and KO is going to happen at Elimination Chamber, because number one, it's in Canada, and number two, that's finally the perfect time to have Randy return for his revenge on KO.
Right. So, well, all right. Yeah. So far, I really like that SmackDown. I thought it was a pretty solid show.
Absolutely.
Good job. Good job. Oh, and then the all that crap with the Wyatt Six during Alexa's match.
So they're definitely teasing that eventually she's going to cross paths with Wyatt Six whenever they decide to return to TV. So,
and I think that I read that correctly. They finally said who was hurt in the Wyatt Six, and it was Bo Dallas.
I think I heard it's Bo has been hurt.
Yeah, so it's like, why hasn't Wyatt Six? Well, someone's hurt in it. Okay, but it was Bo Dallas. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, the leader being down, I get why they wouldn't want them not to be on TV without the leader. So
right.
So if that's the case, then that makes sense.
Aware they're stale because they haven't been on TV. Of course, they're stale.
Yeah, they're stale because it's like they've been off TV for so long. We'll see if they can be able. It's like I wasn't thrilled with Alexa getting involved in the Wyatt Six, but it's like she loved all the stuff she did with Bray. I get it. She probably is all.
I think
like I'm all in on that.
I think this is more
done
Alexa.
Well, I think it could work.
I think this is more on Alexa wanting to do it to kind of put her little, because she was like, with her, she didn't feel like she did what she needed, really what she wanted to do with Bray. Mm-hmm. So this is her way.
I'll sell merch anyway. So
yeah. So this is her way. I think this is more of Alexa wanting to do it more than creative having some.
Oh yeah, right now, no question.
Oh yeah, they're that tag with them in the Hurt Syndicate. AEW is doing pretty well with at least those two tag teams.
They do need something. I agree with you.
Yes, they need something. They need something there. But yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate that Street Profits?
Let us know in the comments.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go
to Monday Night Raw. Here's a recap of this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. Jey Uso came up to the crowd to another big reaction. Before he could even say anything, Gunther sneak attacked him and gave him a big beat down. Gave him the big boot powerbomb, left him laying, basically telling him don't choose him to face him at WrestleMania. But Jey got on the mic and said that he's finally made his decision. And he said that he will challenge Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. And they got into a big brawl. Had to be separated by officials. So our first Mania match is official. Recapped what happened last week with Raquel, Rhea, Io, and Liv Morgan. Rhea Ripley thinks Charlotte's just stalling so she can try to be relevant about making her decision for WrestleMania. Io Dakota came by. Io said she's come for Ripley for messing up her chance to go to WrestleMania last week. But she says she looks forward to it. Then we had a women's tag match. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez took on Damage Control, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. Damage Control picked up the victory with her hitting the moonsault on Liv. They recapped Kevin Owens attacking Sami Zayn last week and hitting him with a package pile driver. Owens blaming Sami for not helping him against Cody at the Rumble. Then we had a women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match as Bayley took on a women's Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyria. Bayley picked up the victory with a roll-up. Much to Lyra's shock. Video package hyping Penta. Ludwig Kaiser isn't impressed with Penta. Pete Dunne comes in and suggests that they team up and take out Penta together. Pete is going to be taking on Penta in a one-on-one match next week. Lyra was with Alpha Academy trying to cheer her up after losing the qualifying match. American Made with Ivy now came in and mock her. Lyra and Ivy exchanged words. AJ Styles came out to cut a promo, officially back on Raw, and said that he still got gas in the tank. Carlito and Dominic Mysterio came out to interrupt, and they got into a brawl, and that set up AJ taking on Dominic in a one-on-one match next week. It was announced that Jey Uso challenging Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship WrestleMania was official. Seth Rollins was interviewed by Jackie Redmond about Elimination Chamber, and he's fired up to get in there and have a chance to challenge Cody for the title at Mania. Finn Balor interrupted, saying that he's not enjoying the disrespect, that he's looking past him. But Seth says he is unfinished with CM Punk, and he'd like to tie up any loose ends with Cody as well. And Balor's just standing in his way. Then we had World Tag Team title match as the War Raiders defend against Creed Brothers. Good stuff until the Creeds used the tag title belt and in front of the referee and caused a disqualification, but they laid out the champs and stood tall after the match. Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio got into it about what's going on with Judgment Day lately. Rhea came up to Io in the back and told her that she feels she doesn't owe anything. She talked to Adam Pearce, and Io will get a shot against Rhea for the title on the Raw after Elimination Chamber in a few weeks, and making Io quite happy. CM Punk came out to cut a promo, saying that now Jey Uso's made his choice. Means the Elimination Chamber winner will be facing Cody for the WWE Championship WrestleMania. He says that he's in it to win it, and he's not going to let Cena or anybody else get in his way. Logan Paul came out to rebut, and they exchanged words ahead of his match against Rey Mysterio. So the main event, Elimination Chamber qualifying match, Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul. Logan Paul picked up the victory to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. After their match, just before Raw went off the air, the New Day ran out and attacked Rey Mysterio and laid him out to close out the show. So that's all that happened on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw.
So, to no surprise, well, for one thing, I was trying desperately to find like a last minute ticket, but the prices just weren't, because it was in Nashville, so it was here. So I was trying to find a last minute ticket.
I forgot to ask you about that. I was like,
but poor planning on me, it snuck up on me because I have like a gajillion things going on in my life. So a lot of times I'm not keeping up with.
I figured you didn't go because they couldn't afford to. Right.
That too, because I mean it's like a lower bowl ticket was like $250, $300. I'm just not going to do that. So, I could have been the nosebleeds for like $60, but I just didn't. No, just decided not to go. If I had like a buddy or something that was willing enough to go, then sure. But I just didn't. I'm not going to spend $60 in the nosebleeds by myself. Yeah, I'm just not going to do that.
But anyway,
much less play.
One of my few complaints about the show, and I forgot to mention it. DIY losing a non-title match is pretty deadly. And then on this Monday, you have Bayley beat Lyra in a non-title situation for the Elimination Chamber. Why are you having your champions lose non-title matches?
You sound like me. You sound like me. That's why I didn't bring it up, because I feel like there's this dead horse over here keeps getting welts every week, and I'm tired of beating it. At this point. It is what it is. It makes no sense.
Someone else come against Bayley, get her in the Elimination Chamber. Why'd you have to have Lyra lose her? The only thing I can think of is that they're doing it to build up some sympathy because she's gonna beat Ivy Nile. But it's like, give her wins because like the fans obviously are kind of like getting into her, but it's like you got to give her better creative than that. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm with GIF on this. They could have a nice little banger match when they eventually get around to it, which is probably going to happen soon. If not at the pay-per-view Elimination Chamber, probably maybe afterwards on the road to Mania.
Yeah. And speaking about that, hey guys, guess what? Did you know the Creed brothers are good in the ring?
I'd almost forgotten since we've hardly seen them wrestle for so long.
Yeah, did you know that, guys? It's kind of a thing. Yeah, they're really good in the ring. Then they had that BS finish of just like blatantly hit them with the title belt, which makes no sense because in the match, it wasn't like they were struggling at that point in the match. So like I
That
didn't
was
understand that either.
That was a completely shitty ending. That was completely unnecessary. It didn't need to protect the War Raiders like that. Well, unless they felt like they didn't want the Creed to take. It's like then don't do the match. It's like, come on.
At least you got to highlight the fact of no kidding, the Creed brothers are good. We've been, I mean, ever since I saw them, I'm like they're really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get that, but yeah, I enjoyed that match up until that finish, and I was like, oh come on.
I know.
That was one thing too. I was like, I like where this match is going.
I was liking Bayley and Lyra, but then it's like I was like realizing, oh, Bayley's gonna have to win. That means Lyra's gonna job because they're gonna put Bayley in the chamber. It's like you can't. There's no reason that Lyra, who has a mid card title, for her to be in the elimination chamber.
Yeah, it just didn't make any sense. AJ Styles is back. That's good. Him and Dom, that was pretty hilarious. That should be fun. Them teasing a new member.
Yeah, what's up with that? Mm-hmm.
The only thing I could think of,
it feels like they're going to turn on it. Do you think that they're going to turn on Finn during his qualifying match with Seth next week?
Something like that. I don't know. I'm tired. I'm done with the Judgment Day. I don't like
pull the trigger on Dom and them turning on Finn because it's like it's gone on long enough.
Right. And it just stinks because I think JD's going to come back with a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
A lot of momentum.
Absolutely.
Just anytime you do like you go through something like that and you push through the match, a lot of the IWC will be like, all right, you're good. Kind of same thing with the Becky situation. When she broke her nose, was bloodied. That was when she got over.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, JD's not going to be on that level, but it's still going to be something to where people are like, Michael Cole and Pat are going to be pushing that narrative of, hey, fought through a collapsed lung and a broken rib.
Job it again, but it's because of the storyline.
Yeah,
with Punk and McIntyre both in the chamber, they cannot have. Seth also has to be in there with the storylines that are going on.
No, this elimination chamber men's is going to be stacked. But yeah, no, it was great to see AJ, and then him having that little stare. I think they stirred down a little bit too long because the crowd was just like, "Woo, okay, or what are we doing here?"
Yeah,
and like Braun just kind of sat there for a little bit. I was like, "Okay, guys, we can move it." The crowd recognizes it.
Mm-hmm.
And partially too, I know some people were like, "Why does he have a cowboy hat on?" I was like, "He's in Nashville, guys.
Yeah,
he's gonna have a cowboy hat on."
Yeah. I love the tease with AJ and Braun. Like, give me that match, please. The opening with Gunther was great. It's Gunther being arrogant, and it's like it's like he thought that he could scare Jay away, but he said, no, that's not going to work. He just made it more clear to Jay that no, it's like, I'm in your head now, pal. I'm coming for you. So
I already know how this match is going to go at WrestleMania. Jay's going to win, but I already know how this match is going to go. Gunther is going to beat the living hell out of him.
Oh yeah, it's like he's going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at Jay, and he won't die.
Yeah,
and the fans will eat it up.
And we're going to eat it up too. I know exactly how it's done. It's a match we've seen a gajillion times, and because of the WrestleMania and you are going to be on the edge of your seat, hook, line, and sinker, because of it. Also too, shout out to Pat McAfee, kept checking on the kid who was accidentally friendly fired of the jacket. Did you notice that Pat kept turning around being like,
yeah,
okay?
That was nice of him to do that.
Yeah, he kept sitting there. And then before that, Penta was on Saturday night's main event, and George Kittle went into the ring and kind of did some celebration with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, until Rey Fenix gets there, and then it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But yes,
the tag division.
Penta is selling a lot of merch right now.
Yeah, he said himself that his masks are selling really well. This is great to hear.
Yeah. So that was good. I guess the CM Punk stuff, I think it was more paint by numbers. It was kind of what he said was like, okay.
Even Logan Paul I thought was fine. Logan Paul got the heat, beat Ray, no surprise.
The only thing I liked is like CM Punk just turn around being like,
where's this thing between New Day and Ray going? It's like,
they did some stuff like literally they And then again, you're on Netflix and you cut so close, like you don't have to cut for
weird.
time.
That felt like something that would happen like on NXT or SmackDown because they're on network TV.
Right. They weren't on network TV, and then it's like, oh, they were cut for time. So here's just, how are they cut for time? You're on Netflix.
It's like Tony back in the day. We're desperately out of time.
Yeah. And what's up with like, for like it's becoming a trend now. It's like at the end, someone's going to attack someone out of nowhere. Solo, Kevin Owens to Sammy, then New Day attacks Ray at the end of the show. Have you noticed that? Like it's a trend of like at the end of the show, someone comes out into like in the last little couple minutes and then attacks.
Yeah, it's really strange.
It's fine. I mean, Dragon Lee was the one that came out and helped him, and the New Day still kind of stood tall on them. But I will say that Ray and Logan Paul match start off a little clunky. You could tell they both, like, if you notice that, like they both started off, they kind of like both dipped at the same time. Yeah. They were kind of a little, and then once they found their footing, how is Ray still this good?
Yeah.
At like 55? It's ridiculous on how good Ray is. And the fact that him and Logan were able to do that long of a match and it actually like told a story. Mm-hmm. When's the last time you saw, like, is it, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to compare Logan Paul's advancement on being this good to Kurt Angle. I'm not going to do it. I'm not.
Go there.
I'm not. But his in-ring is so good, so quickly.
It's like he was. It looks like he was meant for this. It's like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And it's just like, but I'm not going to do the Kurt Angle. Oh my God, he took to it so quickly. And like his like his mic work and stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I will not do it. But he's doing it. And it's not, yes, he's getting getting booked for his because of his celebrity. But he's also kind of earning it in the ring.
He is.
It was kind of the same thing. I mean, don't you remember when Kurt Angle
he's getting good heat. He's not getting go away heat. He's getting like legit heat.
And remember when Kurt Angle debuted, we were like, why are you pushing this guy? He's corny, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's good in the ring, blah, blah, blah. We're kind of saying Logan Paul's a douchebag. He's been canceled like 45 times and always in controversial stuff. But he's really good in the ring.
Yeah.
I got to say what I got to say.
Yep.
You got to call a spade a spade.
Yeah, him getting in a chamber made sense. They like we said, they're stacking up the star power for the men's chamber. Add a lot of intrigue of who is going to face Cody at Mania.
Yeah. But overall, it's a fine show. Obviously, like I said, didn't care for the Creed finich.
Yeah, that finish was blah. It didn't, and also, like I said, not a fan of Lyra losing to Bayley. You know, it's like give her better creative, man. It's like she's the first women's Intercontinental champion. Come on, guys.
Last little thing? What are your thoughts on them doing those promos out in the crowd now? Because CM Punk did it a few weeks ago. Then Seth.
I'm liking it. It's something different.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. And Finn's back and forth with Seth wasn't bad. It's just the fact that we already know what's going to happen, so it kind of takes away from it. But it wasn't like it was bad.
But well, we know that next week is going to be even better because the Prodigy's going to be on. So.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be. You don't do it, WWE. Do not do it. Put her in the chamber.
Don't make Josh angry by having her job to work out.
Don't do it. Unless there's some like weird Cora shenanigans, then I'm semi okay with it. Still don't like don't let her lose clean. It's like if she's gonna lose, let it be with shenanigans at least, for the love of God. Yeah, it's got to be.
We want her in the chamber.
You don't do all this with Roxanne. Have her go an hour and 7 minutes, and then job to Raquel. Nothing against Raquel. You're not on the Prodigy's level.
That was what's going on between her and Bayley, which is like when we get to NXT, it's like it's reaching some awesomeness levels now.
Yeah. All right. Anything? Final thoughts?
No. Let's go over to Dynamite, which shocker.
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. Another good episode.
How did Mox not see Edge?
We'll get to that.
I just keep laughing every time I see that. I'm like, wait.
That was. Here's a recap of what happened on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. We opened with Max Caster's open challenge answered by Hangman and Page after what happened between them last week. Hangman squashed Caster in 1 minute with the buckshot lariat. Recapped what happened with Ricochet beating Swerve last week and stealing Prince Nana's robe. Nana told Swerve he doesn't need to make everything personal, but Swerve points out what happened when he let Hangman Page get away with making things personal. Said he was going to take care of things with Ricochet. Then the AEW Trios titles were on the line as the Death Riders defending against the Undisputed Kingdom. While chaos was happening and the ref was distracted, Wheeler Yuta hit a low blow and and followed up with a small package for the Death Riders to retain the titles. They went to beat down on Cole Company afterwards, but Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker came out to make the save. In the back, Adam Copeland and Jay White sneak attacked Jon Moxley and Marina Shafir and stole the briefcase with the AEW title on it, pissing Moxley off. MJF cut a promo saying he's ready for Dustin Rhodes, and Hangman cut him off, saying he wanted his interview time. MJF ran him down, further setting up a feud between them. Katsuya Shibata, Hook, and Samoa Joe took on a pair of jobbers and squashed them in under 2 minutes. After the match, Samoa Joe cut a promo officially dubbing their trio the Ops and challenged the Patriarchy to a trios match next week. Chris Jericho was back and said that he was going out there to challenge Bandito to a one-on-one duel. Marina Shafir attacked Willow Nightingale as Moxley threatened to hurt Copeland and Jay White for stealing the title belt briefcase. Chris Jericho and Bandito faced off in the ring, but it was a trap for the Learning Tree. Outrunners came out to make the save, and then eventually Powerhouse Ops came out to attack Big Bill and cleared the ring. Dustin Rhodes vowed to take care of MJF tonight. Then we had Dustin Rhodes taking on MJF in a one-on-one match. MJF picked a victory after he made Dustin Rhodes pass out in an STF crossface. He wanted to try to hurt him further after match, but Hangman Page came out to make the save, and they brawled all over the arena. MJF got on the mic, ran him down, and they continued to brawl. So Hangman and MJF feud is officially on. I love it. They recapped with all the matches that are going to happen on Grand Slam this weekend in Australia. Then we had Megan Bain squash a woman in 2 minutes, looking impressive. And that was followed by Chris Statlander taking on Penelope Ford. Statlander picked a victory, but Megan Bain came out afterwards, attacked Statlander on the floor, and hit her with an F5. Harley Cameron cut a music video promo with the Mercedes Moné puppet, mocking Mercedes, but then got serious at the end and vowed to win the TBS Championship for Mercedes in front of her home country. Then we had the AEW Tag Team titles are on the line as Hurt Syndicate defended against the Guns. Lashley and Shelton picked up the victory to retain the titles. Brian Cage and Lance Archer of the Don Callis came out for a stare down, implying that they were next in line for a title shot. Mermaid cut a promo vowing to put an end to Tony Storm once and for all at Grand Slam. Then, to close out the show, Jay White and Adam Cole came out with the briefcase. Cope teased destroying the briefcase with his spiked 2x4 with nails, unless Moxley gave him his title shot at Revolution. Moxley came out and agreed to the title match. Then the Death Riders attacked. They were able to get the briefcase back, but Copeland and Jay White was able to fight them off and then left and said that they would see them in the tag match at Grand Slam. Close out the show. So that's all that happened on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite.
So You know how we've gotten we've gotten always going to complain with Tony because the women's division has sucked so bad. It's just
yeah.
They're starting to lay some really good foundation for
Yes.
multiple people with multiple feuds that I'm actually buying into. So obviously you've got Tony. Just kind of go through it and then I'll get your thoughts. So Tony and Mariah cooking. Mercedes and Cameron is awesome. I am enjoying every second of what they're doing.
I didn't think this feud was going to work, but it did.
It is working. Shout out to Harley Cameron. I ever since she came, I was like, I don't get it. Don't really care. Blah, blah, blah. She's got that extra gear in her as far as her promo and building feuds and stuff like that. She's got the talent to do it. Didn't know that. This is surprising me. The stare down with Statlander and Megan Bayne, and then you also have Willow sitting there.
I'm all for Megan Bayne versus Statlander. That's I'm down for that.
So basically, in this right now, you have two feuds that are really cooking, and for your titles again, because we were saying like, who's Mariah supposed to go with? I mean, unfortunately, you kind of back yourself in the corner with Tony, but you have to have Tony and Mariah. You have to have that back. You still have to have that back and forth. And then Mercedes, we've been saying like, okay, maybe it's Willow, maybe it's Statlander. Harley makes this feud a whole lot better than the feuds that she's had with Statlander. Nothing against Willow and Statlander. I just like what they're doing with this and the layers that they're doing it. But your thoughts on kind of where the women's division is?
I like where it's going. We're finally making some serious progress. I mean, the Harley stuff has worked so much that some people are thinking they should pull off a shocking upset and have Harley beat Mercedes in Grand Slam, which I doubt is going to happen.
No,
but it shows how people are fans of. She's really impressed me. Like that whole rap bit with the pup and everything was just fucking gold.
Yeah,
and her and it's like, and then I love how she got like serious like at the end where it's like, you know, it's like I believe I can beat you. I'm going to do it for my home country. And it's like the fans are getting behind her. It's like it's really working. And if they keep this up, I mean, she's definitely someone they can put the belt on, and the fans will support her like Tony or Willow.
Yeah. So I was really impressed with that. I was, and I'm 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. I like that little trios kind of like doing that.
It was a nice trios match. I really liked it. I just hope that get the titles off the Death Rider sometime.
Yeah, which the Ops, I'm glad they finally got a
name.
Need
to rematch. I think eventually, Undisputed Kingdom hopefully will win the titles. Give Cole and them something to do.
Yeah. What are you thinking about the Ops? You know, the new
Shibata. It's like they're kind of like, I get it. It's kind of like it's a take on Special Ops. They're like we're the baddest league crew that comes in wreck shop.
Yeah,
I dig it. It's not like the wowiest name in the world, but it's like I can go with it.
Well, and also too, like that's become more of a slang term for that's your opposition. So they're just everyone's opponent. And that's what they kind of say, like, oh, that's my op. Again, I am way too old to understand exactly the slang.
You need a reminder that Samoa Joe can also cut a pretty damn good promo. It's like that. I mean, he was getting the fans to go. It's like fucking at Christian being a chicken.
Yeah. And then and plus, I'm liking that because that the patriarchy stuff with Hook was getting stale anyway, and Samoa being back helps that.
Yeah, I was really glad Samoa Joe finally came back from filming Twisted Metal season 2. It's like
speaking of that, they did drop a teaser today for it.
Nice.
for season 2. So that. And I'm excited for that. Twisted Metal season 1 was the surprise of all surprises of how good that show was on that. And Samoa Joe was great in it. Even though it wasn't his voice, his body acting and everything, he encapsulated Sweet Tooth for that. Swerve, still not done. He's still not done with. I like the whole little Swerve and Prince Nano. Like Prince is just trying to. He just wants to be done with Ricochet, and Swerve's like, I'm not done with Ricochet. I ain't doing that. No, I'm not letting anyone get a leg up on me. Just when I thought I was done with Hangman, he burned my house down. And then Prince Nana leaving that. So I like that little segment that they did there. Anything, and then Hangman.
It was the Copeland and Jay White stealing a briefcase was cheesy, but hey, if it's like it finally got the title match, I'm fine with it. I do love that it's like I was like, as soon as he like slammed the door, I was like Jay White's coming in with the bolt cutters, and it's like.
Just I can't.
Also, I appreciate Adam making allusions to Money in the Bank.
Yeah. I did also the MJF Dustin Rhodes match was fun.
It was. That's how you do it. That's how you do a great match. This crowd, I gotta give credit. This crowd in Texas was really hot for this match.
Yeah.
For the whole show, honestly.
Yeah.
Of course, they're gonna be hot for Dustin in Texas. That was well booked. This is the kind of feud that we need right now. MJF and Hangman. It's like, yes, please. They have never had a proper feud ever, despite the fact they've both been in AEW since the beginning. The only time that they ever wrestled one-on-one was for the first Dynamite Diamond Ring.
Wow.
That was like 5 years ago.
Yeah. That's crazy. But the only thing I will say, because I'm loving this MJF Hangman stuff, but the only thing I will say is you can tell when MJF cares about a feud and when he just doesn't give two shits. That's the only thing that's unfortunately sticks out like a sore thumb. Because when he came out and tried to do promos with Jeff Jarrett, you can just tell he just didn't care. He was a paint by numbers. I'm going to say my blah, blah. I'm MJF. I'm better than you. You know it. Yada, yada.
No, what he said to Hangman in the back after the Jack Daniels line, which was good, but typical MJF, but good. But then when he was like, okay, okay. How about this? And then he eviscerated him.
Right. And that's that he can hit that gear when he cares and he knows it's money. He knew Jeff Jarrett. Sorry. And so people are like, I didn't care about that. And then he tried and him trying to fit like it was just him trying to fill in Happy Gilmore too. And then also trying to do this feud with Adam Cole. It was dead on arrival.
It just didn't work.
So now that he's finally got a feud that's like people are like, oh, okay, I can see that. And then him caring propels this to what we were expecting MJF to do with any feud he's in. So that was good stuff there. Anything else sticks out to you?
I think that covers most of it. It's like you really a lot of stuff to like on this 2 weeks in a row. Good stuff.
Bandito, I'm still not used to him yet.
Oh, that was really cheesy, but I still kind of enjoyed it because it was definitely a take on, like out of an old Western, the showdown. It's like, it's like back to back. You're like, okay, 10 paces and we fire kind of. I haven't been very critical of the Learning Tree stuff, but this was entertaining, especially Powerhouse Hobbs coming out and just kicking ass. So
yeah. Do you think Brian Keith has got another gear in him, or is this Brian Keith we're going to get?
I think he's got another gear in him.
Okay. I'm kind of like, I can see it, but then I don't know. He's one of those, and he's one of those like tweeners where it's like, I can see him taking a leap and I see the potential in him, but I also can see it's just like, you can not just be stuck in the Jericho vortex. And then the Hurt Syndicate is, I'm enjoying every second that they're doing. I'm really enjoying that stuff. I'm not surprised they went. I just didn't like the fact that it was like the Guns came out the week before, confronted them, and then the next week we have a title match. I'm not big on that. Same thing I didn't really care for if you have the Creeds confront the War Raiders in the next week.
I feel bad for the Guns. It's like they come back and the crowd was definitely into them, but they were going to get jobbed to Hurt Syndicate. So it's like. And so we heard to see which tag team is because FTR and Collision said that they want to win the tag titles again, so they're going to get back in the mix.
Yeah. And we did. Oh, we got to talk about.
Eventually, the Young Bucks are going to be back.
Yeah. Do you think Cedric? Because he got released too. We didn't talk about him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about Cedric. Everyone's expecting AEW to snatch him up to complete the. Hurt Business reunion.
They should. Hurt Business, and then Cedric with the way they
because that way you can have Cedric and Shelton do the tag team stuff, and then Bobby can do the single stuff.
That, or you can have Bobby and Shelton do that, and then have Cedric go after like the TNT or whatever the 800 billion belts they have.
And that also allows them to go into compete in the trios division as well. So it's like
yeah. So Cedric just the Hurt Business was so solid. They fucked it up every chance that they had it. Ugh.
So yeah, I will not be surprised if once Cedric's 90 days are up that he's going to end up in AEW.
Yeah, and I expect him to. I mean, because you know that those three are going to be pushing to get Cedric there. So
yeah, he was one of the ones I felt bad because he was involved. It's like he was being used in NXT. He befriended Giovanni. He was like helping him out. He was involved in the whole Ethan Page feud. We're finally getting the big blow off match on Vengeance Day, which we'll talk about more in a minute. Because we're gonna talk NXT. And then we're going to run down the Vengeance Day card, which is pretty stacked. It's got 6 matches. It's like a little bit more than usual. So, but there's so please totally keep this up, man. Please, it's like these last couple weeks. It's like the show feels like it's starting to get back on track a bit.
Yeah, so, and Collision's been pretty fun, pretty solid.
Collision's been very solid too.
Yeah. So just here, it all happens when you have good crowds that actually into it. And the reason they're into it is because you're booking it correctly.
Yeah.
Also, you went to the smaller venues. And so the crowd seems a lot louder because you're in a smaller venue. So the acoustics are a little bit better in that regard. So it doesn't feel like a hollow shell half the time.
Mm-hmm.
So they're making the right moves and understanding we're just kind of getting back to basics, really. But yes, the Death Riders are circling the drain of just we get it, but at least they're doing multiple feuds instead of just this comes out, then we're going to beat them down, and then this guy comes out, then we're going to beat him down. It's like it's kind of run its course. So let's move on to NXT.
Yeah, let's go. All right, here's a recap of what happened on this week's episode of NXT, the go home show to Vengeance Day. We open with Bayley taking on Cora Jade in a one-on-one match. Roxanne came out dressed up as hugger babyface Bayley with her old music to distract her and mock her. This allowed Cora Jade to take advantage and hit Bayley with her Jada DDT to win the match. As they all argued in the ring, Ava came out and announced that she was adding Cora Jade to the title match because of the win, and now it's a fatal 4-way for the NXT Women's Championship Vengeance Day. Roxanne wasn't happy, but Bayley attacked the two of them and laid Roxanne out with Bayley to belly. Nikita Lyons mocked both Sol Ruka and Zarya in the back, which set up a match between Nikita and Zarya for later in the show. Olafemi had a face-off with A-Town Down Under ahead of their NXT title match in a triple threat at Vengeance Day. Tension was this tease between the former tag team champions, but they teamed up and beat up Olafemi and left him laying. Eddie Thorpe cut a promo challenging Trick to a strap match at Vengeance Day. Jonah Evans was revealed to have been medically cleared, but Ava had him sign a waiver absolving them of any liability if he gets hurt again, taking on Ethan Page in a grudge match at Vengeance Day, and Javon signed it, making that match official. Then we had a triple threat tag match, Hank and Tank versus No Quarter Catch Crew versus Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. Briggs and Inamura picked up the victory in a fun, wild match. Fraxium was shown watching from above. After the match, they were impressed by Briggs and Inamura finally and gave them a tag team title shot against them at Vengeance Day. Tony Dean Stacks made up at the back ahead of his main event title match against Rich Holland on the show. Lexus King then defended the Heritage Cup against JDC, formerly known as Fandango, coming over from TNA. Under the new normal rules, he picked up the victory with the Coronation to retain the Heritage Cup. Roxanne Perez bitched to Ava about Cora being added to the title match, making it a fatal 4-way. Bayley didn't want to hear her complaining and mockingly complimented that her dressing up as Hugger Bayley was the best she's ever looked. Cora Jade came in and told Roxanne that she was going to watch her win the NXT Championship on Saturday. Roxanne saying that's not going to happen. Fatal Influence was shown talking about Fallon's title match in the back. That led to Kalani Jordan, Jada Parker, and Ashante Adonis speaking for Conor Vetrovic, all looking to get the next title shot. Then we had Zarya taking on Nikita Lyons in a one-on-one match. Zarya squashed her in just under 3 minutes, finishing her with a spear and F5 to pick up the victory. Trick was interviewed and accepted Eddie Thorpe's challenge for a strap match at Vengeance Day, making that match official. As Booker, Vic, and Corey Graves were running down the Vengeance Day card, all of a sudden, voice ran out, and lo and behold, in the crowd appeared Ricky Starks, former AEW star. They chanted Ricky Starks. He said that obviously they know who he is. Vic said the same thing. He said that NXT is obviously the hottest and best place around, and indeed an absolute star. Cutting a promo, pretty much saying he was here in NXT to turn the place upside down. And the fans went nuts. Awesome surprise. Welcome to WWE, Ricky Starks. Julia and Stephanie Becker were in the back chatting. They wished each other luck with their title matches at Vengeance Day, with Stephanie hinting that after she wins the Women's North American Championship, she plans on challenging Julia for the NXT Women's Championship in the near future. In a friendly way between the two friends. More stuff with Andre Chase still dealing with the fallout of the Fall Chase U. And then we got to the main event, cage match for the North American title as Tony D'Angelo defended against Ridge Holland. Izzy Dame tried to slip a crowbar into the cage to help Tony D win. Stacks didn't appreciate it because Tony didn't want to cheat. Ridge got a hold of the crowbar and nearly beat Tony with it, but Tony recovered and defeated Ridge Holland to retain the title. Stacks and Crucifino fought with Ridge into the back, and when they were gone, Sean Spears and his crew showed up to attack, and Izzy Dame revealed that she had been playing them all along and was with Spears and company. She whacked Tony from behind with the crowbar. They took out Rizzo and locked the cage, preventing Stacks and Crucifino from helping, and they were forced to watch as four of them laid out Tony D'Angelo in the ring with a beat down, and Spears and them stood tall. They recapped all the matches at Vengeance Day, and then we got another quick shot of the mystery foursome, implying a new faction in the men's division is going to be showing up soon to close out the show. So that's all that happened on this week's episode of NXT.
NXT has officially become absolute.
Yep. The revolution is televised.
Yes. But before we get into our reaction of it, there's a certain GOAT of Hall of Famers and his live reaction to it. And we'll get that.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I saw this. Play this.
Talking about Cody, who's on my TV right now? Your point. I see you pointing at something.
It's Ricky Starks, isn't it?
Wow! Look at the eyes on the dead man. Ricky Starks is live on NXT right at this very moment. We both popped huge to see Ricky, and boss, you were telling me that in 2015 when you were training for your Mania match with Shane, you came across Ricky Starks. So Ricky Starks came across you. Please tell us the story.
Yeah, so I'm training at this gym. I noticed this kid is there every day. Doesn't say anything, really, respectful. As the training went along and we needed, different spotters and different help, but he was always like right there. Finally, we struck up a conversation, and he told me that he was trying to break in the business, and I tried, I'd set him kind of talk to him about different things. And he actually, on one of the Rumbles that Michelle was a surprise guest in, she wanted to get in the ring, and he came down and trained with her. And I've seen him a few times here and there, and I've always had great conversations with him. He's such a good kid, such a respectful kid. So that caught me completely off guard. I hadn't seen him in probably a year and a half, maybe. And then I just looked up and saw him there. But that's how we met. We met in a gym while I was getting ready for Shane at WrestleMania.
That's pretty cool. That was cool. I didn't realize, just never know where you are, and but now, granted, Ricky is what for those who don't know, Ricky tried out and
he appeared. He was used on WWTV like years ago, but like didn't more in like certain roles and not like in ring talent.
Right.
So this was quite the surprise. Like we talked about it for months that if Ricky was going to leave AEW for WWE, he was going to come over, and everyone was expecting him to do so once the word got out that he was finally let go of his contract and he was free. Didn't expect it to be this fast.
Yeah.
And especially on NXT. But because a lot of people are saying, well, shouldn't he be on the main roster? Yeah, he can go right to the main roster. But here's the thing. Think about it. It's Mania time. They got so much storylines locked up. Where's he going to fit in?
Right.
NXT is the perfect place for him because there's a lot of flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, NXT can use his star power on top of that.
Yep. And
so him going into NXT, I think, is the perfect move. And it creates buzz. Because his debut has gotten an insane amount of views, both on X and on YouTube.
Yeah. And I think our reports that I posted in our Discord, which link down below for anyone who wants to join over there, it is free, is he never said his name. He just said, the whole Scott Hall, you know who I am.
Yeah, but they changed his name, and even Vic was like, we know who he is.
Yeah. But
that got people worried that they were going to change his name, but
it's looking like he's going to at least keep Starks.
Well, they said he's listed under his current name as Ricky Starks. Is
Okay.
The reports from Frightful and other places that he's listed as Ricky Starks on the internal roster list for NXT. So I think it was just a play that, like, they know who the audience is. They know is like a lot of the hardcore fans are watching. So,
plus they were chanting
Ricky
the whole time.
They were chanting his name, so it's like he didn't have to like introduce himself. It's like he said, "You guys know who I am." Obviously, you know who I am.
Yeah.
I love the passion. Saying that he was going to turn the place upside down. Did the pose. He uses his catchphrases. It was. I almost missed it because I stepped out of the room for a second to go clean my dish for dinner. So I'm walking back into my room, and all of a sudden, as I'm walking I'm about to walk through the door, and I can hear Vic Joseph go, "Holy crap!" I'm like, "What the heck is going on?" And there's Ricky Starks. I was like, I'm like, "What? Holy shit!"
Yeah. And just for all the NXT talent, you're about to learn how to cut a promo. I will say that.
Yeah.
You will. I mean, if you didn't think you could, if you thought you could cut a promo, as far as who's in NXT right now and their mic skills, Ethan, fine. Oba, fine. Tony D'Angelo, fine. Ricky's a different level. He made Edge stutter his words and get tongue tied because he was that good on the mic in AEW. Like, would you agree? Like, his promo work is a step above anyone in NXT right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he's leaps and shows above a lot of people there, and I've talked about it. We talked about it. Like once you get past Oba, Trick, Tony D, and Wesley, the men's division in NXT right now is a bit thin, especially when you compare it to how stacked the women's roster is right there.
Right.
It's not even close. So putting Ricky in there immediately boosts the star power of the men's division, and it's like now you're going to generate buzz because, man, I'm excited to see who he's going to feud with first.
Also, for those who don't know, wins over Bayley, Cora Jade 1, Roxanne Perez 0.
So far.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
that's the point. Is like we're like, hey man, remember just like 3 months ago, we're like, they're booking Cora weird. Like, she's losing to people, and na. Now she just got to win over Bailey, and she's in the Fatal 4-Way, and she's got stuff going on with everyone. Like her and Roxanne are just in a different. It's happening. It's happening.
Yeah. No, it's like
Roxanne doing the hugger gimmick.
that.
Realized I didn't need until I got it.
That was I laughed so hard. I'm like, this is awesome. This is the kind of stuff they need to have Roxanne. It's like this adds another layer to Roxanne that it's like she can go troll like that. And I love Baylor's action, especially later when she's like in the office with Ava there, like it's like that's the best you've looked, dumbass.
Right. That was a really good match. I think that's the best Cora Jade singles match I've seen in a little bit.
Well,
now, granted, when you're in the ring with Bailey, she gonna make you look good, but you still makes 2 to tango. And Cora, it was very, very well done.
Yeah, it was. And didn't I call it? Didn't I tell you? Watch, Cora beats Bailey. They're gonna make it Fatal 4-Way.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Yep.
So now, so I'm not worried about my girl Julia losing the title, because this is more about Roxanne and Bailey, and also Roxanne and Cora Jade.
Right. That's the thing, though, is like they've got to the point where it's just like the only reason Julia's there is because she has the title. But other than that, she's kind of taking a step back as the champion because of those 3 and what they're doing. Would you say?
I'm okay with that for now, because once this match is over with, they're once again, like it's like they sowed the seeds of Julia, Stephanie McCurr facing off. I can see them doing it at Stand and Deliver. Like Stephanie wins the North American title, and you have champion versus champion match.
Yeah,
I don't know if both titles would be on the line, but they're definitely teasing the big showdown between Julia and Stephanie. And I know they want to do it because it's like they're tight in real life, and they're looking forward to going at it again, especially in the WWE rig. So, so yeah, all that stuff with the opening match was great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, it's nice to see that Zarya's finally getting some upward trajectory, but talk about how far Nikita Lyons has fallen. I think it's because of it's because I think that they have injury prone concerns at this point for her. That's why she's like kind of like stuck in the mid card and not really going anywhere right now.
No.
And she didn't look bad. Honestly, she didn't look bad at all. It's like she got some good stuff in on Zarya, but this was definitely a one-sided win here. Wouldn't call it a complete squash, but it was definitely almost like a squash.
Yeah, they basically used Nikita to show off Zarya's power.
Yeah,
that's what this match was for.
Yeah.
So you were.
I don't know where the whole team between Zarya and Soul Work is going, but more matches like this to show off how good Zarya is. So so thumbs up for that.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Sol Roca at the least of what they're whatever.
Yeah, I'm not worried about either one of them.
No.
Things will be a little clearer once we get like the whole Roxanne stuff cleared up and there's some more opportunities pop up. I did like how like a lot of the other ladies are like gunning for the women's North American title, showing that even though it's the mid-card title, there's people who want it. It's a good thing because if Stephanie's going to win the title from Fallon, you already got a lot of good potential opponents lined up.
Here's my I guess we'll wait for the vengeance.
Well, let's wait for predictions on the matches.
Yeah, I just realized we're gonna go through that card. Just when I all right, here's the problem.
Yeah,
Ridge is an amazing meal with no seasoning.
Yeah. He's good in the ring. He just doesn't have any kind of like personality or charisma. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's not like and they're trying everything they can. It's just
they're trying.
It's just not there. And what do you think of it's not Fandango and it's not Sean. Well, what do you think about Sean Spears keep adding to his stable?
I feel like we're finally going somewhere where Sean Spears is stable now after this episode. Now that Izzy Dame is officially joined the group,
and I'm glad she did because she needed something.
She needed something, and I liked it. It did a good job of setting it up because I was like as soon as like I saw, I was like, oh, she's been playing them. She's with Spears.
Yeah,
and I was like, nicely done.
Yeah, and I'm like, because Spears is perfect in this role.
Yeah, and plus remember, she was the one who suggested the cage match.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, so this was a long-term con job here.
Yeah.
So I like that. I thought the main event was fine.
What do you think about Lexus and I can't? It's weird to call him JDC. It's Fandango.
Yeah, I thought that was a good match. That was decent.
It's great when the Heritage Cup is just a pinfall, guys. That's all we want. Don't need all the ring breaks and all the other crap. Just give us what we want. The trios tag or the triple threat tag.
That triple threat tag was dope.
Okay.
It's like that was like Jacob Fatu loves to say, all pedal, no brakes.
Right. All gas, no brakes.
Yep. All gas, no brakes. That what it felt like I was watching that match. That was like pretty much like nonstop action, and I loved it. I think all three teams got to look really good. Briggs and Inamura finally got the big win. So they get their shot at Frexium at Vengeance Day.
I'm still just trying to come around on Hank and Tank, and I just can't do it yet. I can't do it yet.
I'm almost there. There's just still something still missing for me too.
They're just a lesser version of Otis and Tucker of Heavy Machinery. They're just a lesser version of that because they had Big Machinery with, well, of course, Otis oozes charisma, number one, and it didn't come across as forced. Where Hank and Tank always come across a little forced. That's the problem with that gimmick. Yeah. And they've done that gimmick before. We've always done different.
No Quarter Catch Crew. It's like I still have high hopes for them.
I'm not worried about No Quarter because their gimmick is they are students of the ring, and that's exactly what their gimmick is, and they pull that off. Hank and Tank doing basically a lesser version of Heavy Machinery is the problem. Is because every time I look at them, I'm like, you're. It's kind of like what CM Punk said to about MJF just being a lesser version of The Miz or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that. When I look at Hank and Tank, I just see a lesser version of Heavy Machinery.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I can't mentally get behind them because they're not as good as something that I already had before. Mm-hmm. It's like when they came out with the new Coke instead of just going, and then you end up going back to the Coca-Cola Classic. It's like, you can come up with a different version of it. It's not as good as the original.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they're behind them and I want them to succeed, but right now their gimmick is too comparative to something that's already been done and it's been better. Yeah, I just said the same thing like 7 times in a row with different ways, but that's just. But yeah, and I'm glad to see Lexus finally getting some push there.
Yep.
Anything else about this show?
Let's see. Can't think of anything else.
Anything with Oba and Trick and all that?
Oh, that was fine. Teasing some dissension between A-Town Down Under. Try to add some intrigue to Town. That's the only match that that's like you really know who's gonna win. That is like, that and the Fatal 4-Way. It's like those are no brainers of who's gonna win that. But they had to do something to try to spice things up because it's like, we got the strap match that I was expecting after what happened last week. And we're getting I love the promo work that Ethan Page is doing right now. I'm looking forward to that match with Javon at Vengeance Day. So overall, between some good matches, good advancement, storylines, nice episode of NXT heading into Vengeance Day on Saturday.
Yep.
I did love how Corey's like, now you can watch me finally win a title.
Right.
Dead body. So, well, it's going to be over both their dead bodies.
But speaking of Vengeance Day, let's go over the card and predictions.
All right, so they added a bunch of matches on this week. So we got 6 matches, which is a little bit more than usual for NXT cards. Usually HBK and them want to go with 5 matches, but we're getting 6 for Vengeance Day. We got a lot of titles on the line. We're going to start with the 2 non-title matches. First, we got the grudge match, Ethan Page versus Javon Evans. Do you think they're going to give Javon the win here, or do you think Ethan's going to win again to keep the
I don't think we're done here. I think they might have Javon go over and Ethan. I don't know. I just don't. Whatever happens with this match, I don't think we're done. I think this is a stand and deliver.
Oh, I think this is probably going to some kind of like stip at stand and deliver because there's no stip involved here.
Right.
So I think
whatever happens with this match, my prediction is, I really don't care who wins. Whatever's happens is going to carry on, and we get stand and deliver blow off. Right.
Yeah. And I'm with you there. And then we got the strap match: Trick Williams against Eddie Thorpe. Trick's going
to win it.
Yeah.
Unless some crazy happens, but it's Trick.
Should be fun. Then we got the NXT Tag Team Championship. Fraxium defending against Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura.
Unless the Hardys come out of nowhere and screw over Fraxium, Fraxium is winning this too.
Well, yeah, unless they decide to pull a really real shocking upset.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Yeah, I just don't see it either. But you never.
Briggs and him. What's his name again? Sorry, Inamura. Like they're a hot cup of coffee as far as being together.
Yeah, we're probably getting to see them. I think I don't mind them losing here, and then maybe if they get a rematch, then win the titles. I'd be fine with that. So, I'm not betting against Fraxium right now.
No, but I think stranger things have happened, but I just don't see.
I just don't see it. That's probably gonna be a really good match,
especially with how they're teasing the Hardys and Fraxium on TNA. They're not going to screw. They're not going to just take.
Oh yeah, no, they want to do that.
They want to do
that. So then we got the Women's North American Championship. Fallon Henley defending against Stephanie Vaquer.
Okay, so I think Stephanie will win, and then Jordan Grace is going to come out and they're going to have a stare down.
I can see that. Or she does that with Julia.
One or the other. Yeah. Whoever, because Stephanie's winning, number one.
Yeah, I would be really, really fucking shocked if Stephanie doesn't win the title here. They've been pushing Stephanie very hard. Both her and Julia have been. They're really. It's very clear that they're positioning Stephanie and Julia as like the top 2 women of the division for the time being. Especially now with Roxanne, pretty much unofficially on the main roster at this point. You know.
And I can tell you exactly how this match is going to go. They're going to whatever, and then
we're going to try to pull some shenanigans like the Phelan Foods, but I will not be surprised if Shotzi and company show up to help neutralize.
Chemical X is going to come out and neutralize that, so we just have Fallon and Stephanie.
It'll be just Fallon and Stephanie 1-on-1. Yeah. So yeah.
So unless someone else to join Fatal Influence, that's the only way I would see it. Is like they've add a 4th member.
Yeah. But I'm expecting Stephanie to win the title. She finally got a T-shirt. She's finally got some merch. I saw she posted it on her social. So, and also Julia apparently has got a new T-shirt as well. I still like the one I got right now, so I'm not going to get.
Julia already has 2 T-shirts, and it took the Prodigy 8 years to get another one.
But I may grab the Stephanie Vaquer shirt next time there's a good sale.
Well, whoever did Stephanie Vaquer's music, just do the rest of the wrestlers because her music's
good. Stephanie's music is great.
Yeah, Julia's, it's fine, but it's not what Stephanie's is. I really like Stephanie's.
I like Julia's because it's unique. It stands out.
Yeah, and it doesn't just say Julia and then goes into everything like the stupid Def Rebel stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like that, like that. That's a good little teaser.
Yeah. So then we have the NXT Women's Championship. Now, originally a triple threat, now a fatal 4-way as Julia defends against Roxanne Perez, Bayley, and Cora Jade.
You know who wins? The audience.
The audience will win this match.
That's who wins this match.
if they give these women enough time, this match could probably steal the show with these 4 women.
Yeah.
But yeah, Julia's walking out with the title. She's not losing the title just yet.
Nope.
Probably Cora's going to eat the pin because with what's going on in the main roster, especially with Elimination Chamber, I don't see Roxanne or Bayley taking the pinfall in this match. Because Bayley's going to the Elimination Chamber. Roxanne's got a qualifying match on Monday after this against Raquel to try to get so she can get into Elimination Chamber in Toronto. So I'd be very, very surprised if Roxanne or Bayley take the pin in this. I think it's probably going to be Cora.
You would think, but the only way they're going to spin it is if Roxanne takes the pin because of somehow or another Cora screwed her over.
Yeah.
And somehow, some way or another, they screw her over. Then when they go into her qualifying match on Raw, they're going to bring someone. Kelly's going to be back there, and she's going to ask her about her. You just lost your championship match, and now it's like, how do you pivot?
Yeah, they're going to tease like Cora and Roxanne coming really close, but they stop each other and screw each other over, and then that's when they really like lose they go to town on each other. Because it's like you just cost me the title, like they're gonna be at each other's throats eventually during this match.
Yeah,
and that's gonna cost them.
Yep.
So
there's a different way. It's multiple ways, but I just don't see Bayley taking the pin. Long story short,
she's the one that I'm pretty sure is not going to take the pin.
Right. She just took the pin against Cora.
She took the pin against Cora, and she's got the elimination coming up. It's like she's not going to take too many more pinfalls.
I just like Cora makes the most sense, but Roxanne has more intriguing as far as progressing story. Even going into a qualifying match, they could bring that up.
So yeah, Julia's keeping the title, but that match is going to be awesome with all these ladies involved. So looking forward to it. And then we got an unfortunately very predictable main event. Triple threat as Obafemi defends against both Grayson Waller and Austin Theory of A-Town Down Under in a triple threat. So
I know why it's the main event. I just don't think it should be the main
event. I don't think it should be. I honestly, I'd rather have the ladies have the main event. Let the Fatal 4-Way be the main event. Like what they did with in Deadline with the Iron Survivor. The Women's Iron Survivor got to close the show, which was the right move because that match fucking kicked ass.
Yeah. And that's when the audience really got introduced to Stephanie. That Iron Survivor stuff. There. But yeah, that's the only thing. It's just like I just feel like this is a pseudo squash match. Just to show how great it is.
It's just filler until Trick is done with Eddie, and then we're gonna get a one-on-one showdown between Trick and Obafemi at Stand and Deliver before.
And then Trick's gonna go to the main roster. Yeah, Roxanne's gonna be called up. Trick's gonna be called up. Those are the only two definitive.
Who else do you think they might pull up besides Roxanne and Trick after Mania? Officially,
Ethan?
Maybe. Roxanne's it's like almost like unofficially there already with what's been going on lately at this point.
Yeah. And they've already been saying she's going to be on Raw anyway.
I mean, she was on Raw this week in the audience again, hounding Bayley. She's got the qualifying match next week. It's like she's pretty much almost like she's unofficially part of the Royal roster at this point. It's like,
as far as the women, Lash Legend,
I can see the Metaphor girls get called up
because they've already been pseudo doing stuff as it is on the main roster. Because obviously Jordan's going to be hanging out in NXT for a minute.
Just a little bit before she'll go to the main roster. I don't see her staying in NXT too long because she's already done a lot of stuff in NXT already. We should see if they play up because she had some issues with Zarya after that 10-woman tag last year. I wonder if they'll go anywhere with that. But
what are they going to do with Fraxium?
That's the thing.
They're just so good, so you can't break them up. But then if you put them on the main roster and the tag divisions are they got what they're needed to do on SmackDown, and Raw is lacking anything. But I don't think adding them is going to. The audience isn't going to give a shit. It's the wrong story.
Yeah.
Sure, just of how they book it and just where they are on the card. Whereas Fraxium is like a highlight of NXT.
It depends on. I think we'll get an idea if they're going to call up, depending on if we feel like their title matches Stand and Deliver, they might finally lose the titles.
Yeah,
it just depends on how that.
So it was like Roxanne and Trick definitively.
Yeah, those two are going up for sure.
Maybe Ethan. Maybe obviously the Metaphor girls.
Roxanne, we already know. Roxanne is like 100% pretty much at this point. With what's going on
she's 100%. And then I would say, you would think Trick is like 95%.
Yeah, he's almost there.
And then, like I said, Ethan maybe, but I think they need him.
I could see them keeping him for the men's division for a little bit longer.
Yeah,
there's no need to rush him to the main roster just yet.
No, but Ethan can definitely fit in anywhere on the main roster.
So we wish to see if Ricky's going to go right into the NXT title picture, or maybe he'll go into the North American title picture first, because it feels like with Oba, eventually they're going to have Tony and Oba dance again, because Tony is the only one who has a clean pinfall over Oba in NXT. He's the only one who's legitimately beaten him twice. He beat him in 2 matches. So they're going to play that card with him trying to challenge for the NXT championship eventually after Stand and Deliver. So either Spears or someone in that group is probably taking the title off Tony, and then maybe you can have Ricky feud with them. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. It depends if they want it. I don't see them putting Ricky right into the NXT title picture just yet, because Oba Femi's there, and it's just like,
yeah, but they did that with Ethan right off the bat. But the thing is, at the time, they kind of needed it. I don't think they need it right now.
But, man, give me Ricky Starks versus Wesley like now. That match will fucking cook.
Yeah, it will. And the only thing is if Ricky has a feud with Javon better step up his mic work.
You bet, yeah, or else Ricky's gonna cook him.
It's gonna be over before it starts, as far as the mic work is concerned.
Yeah,
because
it'll be otherwise, unless they want to do trial by fire and just like go out there and do your best, because Ricky's coming for you.
Yeah, unless they just tell Ricky to hold back, so that way he makes them, and which he can. But if Ricky goes full Ricky on Javon, as far as his mic work is concerned, but Ethan's really good on the mic, not as good as Ricky. I think Ricky's just one of those top tier mic work guys. I know I've said that like multiple times this episode, but it's just if you want, like, Ricky is not too far behind. He still needs a little polish himself, but I mean, as far as comparing him to MJF, he's not too far behind and MJF's one of the best mic workers there is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Ricky is that far behind him.
I don't think he's that far either.
Because Ricky's mic work made feuds work in AEW that had no business working. He got him and Big Bill over. He got him and Powerhouse Hobbs, and Powerhouse Hobbs was just there. He made Edge forget his lines and stumble across his words, and that's kind of was the downfall of Ricky, because he pissed off Edge.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how good Ricky is.
Yeah. So yeah, exciting times in NXT now, that especially with Ricky Starks now in the mix. It's another reason to be excited.
I did like how Undertaker was calling him kid. I was like, he's 34.
Yeah, he's not. Well, to Undertaker, he's probably still a kid.
Well, I know, but that's just always funny when like someone's like, "All right, good job, kid." I'm like, he's 34, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, no, a lot of people were really excited for him. CM Punk posted his debut on his Instagram with a big smiley face attached to it. So he's very happy that Ricky's come on over. Jade was excited. Him and Jade Cargill are pretty tight. So saw a lot of people excited for him. And even Triple H tweeted out his debut. So it's like even Triple H acknowledged it. So it's like, this is really cool. So I'm happy for Ricky. We're excited. Oh, do you think we'll see Ricky at Vengeance Day?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
I think they have to. They gotta capitalize on that.
Yeah. Whether or not he gets
involved, maybe get an idea of where who his like first feud is going to be. It's like something like that.
Yeah. So, hey, look, have him feud with Ridge. That might perk Ridge up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. All right, man. Well, that about wraps it up for us here. Thank you all so much, as always, of joining us for another episode of Ruckus Wrastlin. Join us again next week as we break down not only Vengeance Day, but everything else leading up to, because it's Mania season.
Also,
people.
Grand Slam is on late Saturday, sometime Saturday night, because they don't know when the NBA All-Star festivities are going to end. So we're going to have to. I'm definitely going to do a recap for that, because there's some important matches on that show. It's probably going to air late, but so. It's gonna be a wild Saturday night of wrestling between Vengeance Day and whenever Grand Slam is gonna air.
Right, because I like that card for Grand Slam too. But that about wraps it up for us. If anything, guys, join us on the Discord, as we alluded to earlier in the episode. The link is down below. We talk about anything over there as soon as breaking news or stuff happens.
For Thomas Tony to win that title back.
Yep. With that, and then also we have other shows going on. Obviously, Bracket Bitches, guys. We're almost in March, which means there's some madness brewing. And get your brackets ready, because that's when the Bracket Bitches really goes. We will try and do a live show or a live reaction to Selection Sunday. So we're working on that. As far as Wednesdays go, we still have the game dues on. We had a hiatus because I was ill yesterday. But we'll have that coming back as we're continuing Act 3 of Divinity Original Sin Part 2. So we're having a good time doing that. And then followed by Rev Sports Wrap It Up, which we're kind of getting into the slow season, a.k.a. also some football news and all the trade deadlines. So we still would try and bring you all of the Wrap It Up goodness there. And then you have Justin and I capping it off your week.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot to talk about next week. We
have a lot to talk about next week, especially as we see where all these released wrestlers will fall.
Yeah, and lots of NXT talk between Vengeance Day and then the Fallout on Tuesday. As we head toward. Although before we get to Stand and Deliver, they're going to do a Roadblock special. That's going to be at in a special theater place that's in MSG. Holds about like 5,500 people. So they're going to do. So after Vengeance Day, we're going to have the Roadblock TV special and then Stand and Deliver.
Gotcha.
They're doing the Roadblock in March, like kind of like how they did, like it's like New Year's Evil, it's like
okay.
So,
all right, we're looking forward to that. But on behalf of Justin and I, it's always a pleasure, sir. It's always a pleasure for everyone joining us out there. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, and we will see you all next time.